And the speaker before me yesterday in Salt Lake opened his presentation by bellowing the words to the audience. He bellowed the words, "Knowledge is power." That's what he said. See, it's utter nonsense in my mind. Complete and utter nonsense. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. Show of hands in this room who'd like to be more successful. Keep your hand raised if you know of at least one thing that would make you more successful. And you're still not doing it. We think it's knowledge that leads to power, yet it's the implementation of the knowledge that leads to the power. It's the stuff that you choose to do. See, if you do not ask, you do not get. We say the biggest reason we do not ask is because we're fearful of change. See, what the reality of is that every single one of you in this room is a salesperson. But I want to have some fun for a second. I'd like you to throw some words at me, some adjectives. Some adjectives that describe a stereotypical salesperson. And we can be as mean as you like. Hit me with what you got. What do we got? Sleazy. What else? Pushy, annoying. Keep going. Arrogant.
Pest.
A pest. Ignorant. Whew. See that sequence of words? If somebody used those words to describe you, somebody saw that in you when they saw you for the very first time, how would that make you feel? Yucky, right? She said pissed off. What if by alternative, though, I didn't ask you to describe a stereotypical salesperson, but by alternative, I asked you to describe a professional salesperson? How do the adjectives now change? Service, informative, insightful, great listener, empathetic. Wow. If somebody saw that in you when they saw you for the very first time, somebody used those words to describe you, how would that make you feel? Yeah. Isn't that interesting? See what happened right there? I changed one word, and you changed all the words. That's what happened. I changed one word, you changed all the words. I wonder if this might be true. I wonder if being a salesperson isn't the bad thing. I wonder if merely your perception of what a salesperson is could be the bad thing. I wonder if that was true. I'm going to ask you to change a number of things today, understanding that tiny changes could make massive differences. But do people like change? Let's just prove how much people like change. Guys, do me a favor, fold your arms for me. No, not that way, the other way. It's like being hugged by a stranger. That is one of the simplest of changes I could ask you to make. I want us to understand that change is hard, change is difficult, change isn't something that we look to be able to move towards too freely, but change is required if we want to change our results. So what was the most important thing that I wanted to share with you here today? Well, the most important thing that I wanted to share with you was this. The most important thing was, when is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say? It's in the moment when you're saying it, right? That is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say, is in the very moment when you're saying it. Yet what I've learned is sometimes the biggest difference between those that do good and those that do great is the ones that do great know exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to make it count. All the subconscious brain is it's like a little human computer. It has a yes or a no based outcome. Some examples of where the subconscious brain has served you is, do you ever remember like a familiar car ride? Where you remember getting into the vehicle at one point in time, and then you remember arriving at the destination, and you have no idea how you got there. That was the subconscious brain that took the drive. We all have one. If I wanted somebody to consider my idea, instead of asking them to consider my idea, I might preface it with a really useful sequence of words. I might preface the idea that I'll be looking to introduce to you with the words, "I'm not sure if it's for you." See, if I preface my idea with the words, "I'm not sure if it's for you," what does the little voice do? Little voice does two things. First thing the little voice does is it says, well, I'll be the judge of that. Right? Second thing it does is curiosity is piqued. So if we preface an idea with the words, "I'm not sure if it's for you," we're in good shape. See what this does? It just gets you into the conversation that you were really hoping to have. Who in this room sees themselves as open-minded? Somewhere like almost everybody. I mean, what's the alternative? See, the alternative isn't something that many people want to be. I think almost everybody sees themselves as open-minded, and I'm just going to prove this to be true. Show of hands, who are the people in the room that never raise their hands when asked to raise their hands? Right? See, everybody likes to see themselves as open-minded. What can we do with that fact to increase our ability to invite people to look at what we want them to be able to look at, to get them to consider our ideas, to be able to evolve and ask in some way. All I do is I take the words open-minded and I frame it into the form of a question. I'm going to take it and I'm going to say, how open-minded would you be to? It's a rejection-free opening formula to invite anybody to look at anything. How open-minded would you be to sitting down and learning how what we can do is we can help you in ways that your existing suppliers do? See, I want you to be able to understand that it allows you to be able to passport an idea into somebody's mind for them just to be able to consider it, not to be able to make their mind up on it, just to get it into play. Do people move when they're uncomfortable? Yes, they do. More of the people, more of the time. And do people move to do the stuff that matters to them and only them? Yes, only everybody. So all forms of motivation work. And I just want you to understand something that might be happening in your business right now. And I'm going to use this chair here as a prop. I want you to understand that this chair is not a conference chair. This chair is, in fact, your couch, your sofa at home. Now, you've just had a particularly busy day, on the back of a particularly busy week, on the back of a particularly busy month. And you are flat out exhausted. You're wearing everything you wore to work. You're carrying your bag alongside you. You step into your home and you look at your couch. You take a look at your couch, and a decision comes into your head. And the decision that comes in is you're thinking about taking a seat. And when this decision comes into your head, you commit to it. You decide what it is you're going to do, and you make a bold, decisive move, and you say, without any lack of commitment, I am going to sit on you. And you give it everything you've got. What happens is you find yourself in this kind of position on the couch, right? Here we are on the sofa, and then as we start to be able to relax, we start to think. We start to think to ourselves is, you know what? If I go get changed, man, I'm going to be so much more comfortable. I will. I know it. There is not a doubt in my mind. I mean, what happens if I lay this way? Whew, that would be a game changer. But you know what? This is fine. True? How many times does that happen with your customers? You find yourself in a conversation with them. What you're doing is you're sharing how your brilliance, your service, your value could add huge impact into their life. As you're sharing the information with them, they're like, I know. I agree completely. There's not a doubt in my mind that this is the right thing for us to be able to do. It sounds brilliant. I love it. But we're fine as we are. Does that happen, yes or no? Yes. Too much of the time. I want you to think right now, what is it that gets you off the couch? Dinner's ready. Kids need picking up from school. Jobs need to be done. What about that glass of wine? Really need to get to the thing I committed to go to with my buddy. Some form of external pattern interrupts, kicks in and says, now's your time to move. I need you to take full responsibility that you are that pattern interrupt for your customers. That is your job. If you want to redefine what a salesperson really is, pick my definition. What a salesperson is a professional mind maker-upper. And we need to understand a little bit about the decision-making process. And did you know that every decision that every human being has been made at least twice? Logic would then prevail and say, well, if you could get somebody to see themselves doing something before you invite them to do it, chances of them doing it become significantly higher. That's the first thing I need us to understand. Second thing I need to understand is about how decisions are made. And decisions are made based on our memories. I'm going to unpack some information about how our memories really work. I want you to view your memory as nothing more than like a giant Instagram account. Tens of thousands of images that exist in our mind. And we use these images to make decisions every day. When we're faced to make a decision today, our immediate process is to reach into our Instagram account, pull out an image or a sequence of images that are similar to the scenario I'm looking at today, saying, how do these images serve me in today's decision-making process? That's how we make our mind up, by looking at past images. There is a period of our life where we learn quicker than any other point in our life. And that period of life, some scientists say is between like 2 and 7. Some say it's between like 3 and 11. They all agree it's when we're kids. We receive the bulk of our information as children in the form of a story. Now, a story will always sell, whereas a fact will only tell. And stories are our way of implanting images up here in other people's minds. How did a kid know a story was coming? What words were used? Once upon a time. You cannot use the words once upon a time with a client or prospect or any form of grown-up for that matter and get the same result. What you can use, though, are the grown-up version of those words, which are the words, just imagine. See, when I say just imagine, it opens the Instagram viewer in the exact same way. What can I now do is I can now insert scenarios. Scenarios somebody might want to run towards, scenarios somebody might want to run away from, or scenarios that would make their heart sing. See, just imagine moving forward with me on this program right now and the difference that I'll be making to your life in as little as 3, 4, 5, 6 months' time. Just imagine what that could do. See what I can do with the words just imagine? I can give you something to chase, something to run from, or something that makes your heart sing. And I never said anything. All I did is I asked you to paint pictures in your own mind. You saw what I was saying as opposed to heard what I'm saying. Note the difference. If somebody sees what you're saying, it is very different than if they hear what you're saying. What if I could tell you that I could passport people in time just like I did with the words just imagine, and not passport people through time with what they see, but with what they feel? Would that be useful, yes or yes? See, if I want to move somebody through time with what they feel, all I use is a future conditional feeling, which is prefacing an idea or a statement with the words, how would you feel if? See, how would you feel if 3 months on from now that we were to work together and you could achieve the results in 3 months that you'd failed to achieve in 12 months a year before? How would you feel if that was true? Can you know what just happened? You saw yourself and felt yourself in a scenario that was based on what you were running towards, running away from, or what would make your heart sing. That's how we move people. And you've got 2 sequences of words that we can use as a preface to get people to see or feel themselves in the scenarios that you can create. Not the result of what you do, but the result of the result of the result of the result, the thing that matters for them. That's how we sell stuff. Everything I'm talking to you today is about questions. It's about our ability to ask great questions. In fact, here is a 5-step process that will not go out of fashion regardless of the internet. 5-step process is this. Questions create conversations that lead to relationships that create opportunities that become sales. Everybody wants more sales, but what they forget is the process. Is questions create conversations. Conversations lead to relationships. Relationships create opportunities. Opportunities become sales. That's the process. When is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say? It's in the moment when you're saying it. So it'd be remarkably unfair of me to ask you a question you haven't been asked before. So I'm going to see just how good we are at questions. I'm going to pick on a couple of people as volunteers. Good thing is they don't even know who I'm going to pick on yet. I'm going to ask a question you've all been asked 1,000 times before, so this isn't going to be anything that should be able to catch you out. And Johnny, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good, thank you. So here we have Johnny at level 1 of response to the how are you question. I asked Johnny, hey, how are you? His little voice in head says, I know this one. I'm good. Thank you. Full stop. What happened to the conversation? Dead. Game over, right? How often does that happen? A lot. Let's see if we can find somebody who can advance us to level 2. See where we can get to. James, hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful, mate. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, mate. How you doing? I'm wonderful too, James. See? There's level 2. How often does that happen? Hey, how are you doing? I'm fine, thanks. Hey, how about you? Yeah, I'm fine too. So funny that everybody feels the exact same way whenever we have this exchange. Just like a mirror comes up. But well done, James, getting us to level 2. Do you know how many levels there are in this exchange? 2. In modern society, we've learned to become efficient with language, so much so that we're no longer effective with language. That's what's happened. We've created these sterile encounters that believe that nobody gives a damn. That's what happens. Has anybody ever seen a game of tennis that they liked? See, if you've ever seen a game of tennis that you did enjoy, here was why. Yay! Right, that's what we liked. We loved the volleys and the rallies. We love when it gets exciting, and conversation is the same. Here are the words that we can use to encourage people to talk about themselves. You are going to want to write these down, but some of these are difficult to spell. They're words like, yeah? Wow. Really? Nice. Cool. See, what do words like that really say? Listening. They also say, go on. Keep going. Tell me more. Give me more in that scenario. See, you said that you want to be better salespeople. That's one of the reasons I know you're at events like this. But first thing you might want to do is to stop being a sales prevention officer. Scrap that role. Fail that part of the job description. Fired. What did we learn is that questions create conversations that build relationships, that create opportunities that lead to sales. Who is the person who's in control of every conversation? It's the person who's asking the questions. How many times do your customers ask questions of you and you jump straight to answer mode? You jump straight to advice monster mode. Here's what selling is. Selling is earning the right to make a recommendation. What that means is you should never, ever, 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 ever invite somebody to move forward with your recommendation unless you can say these words first. The words you should look to be able to say first are the words because of the fact that you said. Because of the fact that you said blank, blank, and blank is for those reasons what we'd recommend is blank, blank, and blank. So you have to do the work to collect the evidence. Put more simply, in the medical industry, they say that prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. Prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. So please make sure that what you're not doing is inviting somebody to buy your thing before you've really uncovered a need that is genuine and big enough that they, in their words, have said they could benefit from what you're offering. Here's the reality. If I have the word price written in my right hand, the word value written in my left hand, and price comes out ahead of value, which one looks bigger? But if the value comes out ahead of the price, which one looks bigger right now? See, you have to want the thing before you know how much the thing is. Quick show of hands in this room who spent more money on something than they said they would. Take a look around. And now ask yourself again, do budgets really exist? All a budget is like a fictitious creature that somebody made up one day to pass the responsibility onto somebody else. It doesn't really exist. All a budget is a guideline as what somebody thought they could spend towards the thing that you're offering, without having prior knowledge or information to what they really needed. Yet every single one of us has spent more than we needed to when we needed to. How we talk about price is remarkably important. And I'm going to just prove this here for a second. Your name, young man, is? Oliver, can I borrow your pen for a second? This is Oliver's pen. Oliver's pen right here is chucked on a table at a yard sale, a car boot sale. How much is the pen? 15 pennies. Now we're going to take Oliver's pen. It's the exact same pen. I'm going to place it in a stand. Stand has 12 identical pens alongside it in the compartment. Stand is made of acrylic. In the adjacent compartments are pens by the same manufacturer in different colors. Manufacturer's name sits across the top of the stand. Stand sits on the counter of a mid-price department store like a Debenhams or a John Lewis. How much is the pen? It's the same pen. The exact same pen. Now I'm going to take Oliver's pen, the exact same pen, and I'm going to lay it down on its side. I'm going to put it in a box, and the box is made of mahogany. Mahogany box is velvet lined. So I have a pen in a mahogany box that's velvet lined. This sits in a cabinet. Cabinet's made of glass. Glass cabinet is spotlit. So I have a pen in a mahogany box that's velvet lined. Sits in a cabinet. Cabinet's made of glass. Glass cabinet is spotlit. This sits in a department store. Not just any department store right here in London. Not just anywhere in London. It's in Knightsbridge. Store in question is called Harrods. So this is Oliver's pen. Sits in a box. Box is made of mahogany. Mahogany box is velvet lined. Sits in a cabinet. Cabinet's made of glass. Glass cabinet is spotlit. Sits in a department store, not just any department store. Department store is in London. It's in Knightsbridge. The store is called Harrods. And to get to the pen, I need to speak to a member of staff. Member of staff is wearing a black tuxedo, has white gloves on, and his name is Pierre. How much is the pen? It's the same pen! I do not know a better way of explaining to you that in every single marketplace, there are people selling what seems to be the exact same thing for demonstrably different prices. In every single marketplace. In that scenario right there, what was the difference? See, everything that you're talking about right now is true. The thing that's worth the money is never the thing. The thing that's worth the money is the things that surround the thing. If you get clear about the things that surround your thing, then what happens is people see more value in the thing. You catch that? And how well you articulate the things that sit outside your thing is how people see the value of what your thing really is. Make sure that you're doing a good enough job of packaging what is around your thing. So ladies and gents, thank you for listening. I've been Phil Jones. It's a huge privilege to serve you. I wish you all the success in the world you're prepared to work for. Thank you.